Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on a journey into something that touches every single one of us: healthy eating.
It really does.
It's so much more than just what's on your plate, isn't it? It's about understanding the science, mastering practical skills, leveraging cutting-edge technology, and even delving into the fascinating psychology behind why we choose the foods we do.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Our mission today is to sift through a rich stack of sources, giving you a shortcut to being truly well-informed and perhaps even transforming your relationship with food.
Indeed, it's a holistic exploration, really.
Yeah.
We'll be connecting the dots between how we shop and cook, what nutrients our bodies truly need,
Right.
and even how emerging technologies are, well, shaping our dietary future. This isn't just about food. It's about empowering you to make choices that genuinely benefit your health and well-being.
And for you, our listeners, this deep dive is a fantastic opportunity, we think, to engage with some nuanced concepts and maybe expand your vocabulary a bit, all within a clear, structured conversation. Think of it as a mental workout that leaves you feeling smarter and more prepared to navigate the modern food landscape.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Right, let's kick things off with maybe the most fundamental question. Is cooking at home truly better than eating out? Most of us kind of suspect the answer, I think. But the data makes a really compelling financial and health case.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
really does. Our sources highlight a pretty stark economic reality. Over the past 12 months, the cost of meals prepared outside the home climbed 3.1%.
Okay.
while groceries rose only 1%.
That doesn't sound huge initially, but I guess it adds up.
It really does. The cumulative effect on your wallet is significant. And when you break it down further, the average price per serving of home-cooked meals is remarkably low. It's about $4.31.
Or 31, okay.
Compare that to the average cost of eating out, which skyrockets to $20.37.
Wow, $20?
That's nearly 5 times more expensive per serving.
That's a dramatic difference. And it gets even more impactful when you consider how we actually spend our total food budget.
Exactly. The Department of Agriculture found that Americans spent a massive 56% of their total food budget on dining out or ordering takeout in 2023.
Over half the budget.
Over half. Yet this substantial spending only covered about 7.5 meals each month.
Just 7 or 8 meals for all of that money.
That leaves the remaining budget, the other 44%, to cover approximately 85 grocery meals.
85, okay.
So it's clear that reallocating even a portion of that restaurant money into groceries can stretch your food budget significantly further. You get much more bang for your buck.
More meals for your money, basically.
Definitely, and more control.
Right. So beyond the financial aspect, which is huge, home-cooked meals offer substantial health benefits that are often overlooked, you mentioned.
That's right. When you're in your own kitchen, you have, unparalleled control over every single ingredient.
Total control.
Which means you can choose fresh, whole foods and actively limit processed ingredients, unhealthy fats, added sugars, and excessive sodium.
All the stuff that tends to creep in when you eat out.
Exactly. Those elements are unfortunately very common in restaurant or fast food options. You can also precisely manage portion sizes, preventing that common issue of overeating that often accompanies those, larger restaurant servings.
Yeah, those portions can be massive. And here's where it gets particularly crucial for many people, I think. For the more than 30 million people in the United States with food allergies,
Yes,
eating at home is often the safest way to avoid a reaction, isn't it?
absolutely. It's fundamental. When you're cooking for yourself, you are the captain in your own kitchen, as you said. You control the ingredients, you eliminate hidden allergens, you mitigate risks that are often just unavoidable when dining out.
It's peace of mind.
It really is. It's a matter of safety and peace of mind, not just preference.
Okay, but the big objection, right? Many people, myself included sometimes, assume cooking at home is just far more time-consuming.
That's the perception.
That perception often drives us straight to the takeout menus. But our sources offer a whole plethora of time-saving hacks, things that can truly transform your kitchen routine,
Yeah.
making healthy home cooking not just feasible, but actually surprisingly efficient. So what's the secret? How do you fit this into a busy life?
It means becoming a bit of a kitchen strategist, moving beyond spontaneous cooking to a more planned, proactive approach.
Okay, a strategist. I like that.
One key hack highlighted is planning ahead with ingredient prep.
Right, the prep work.
Exactly. Investing just a little time over the weekend, maybe an hour or two, to plan your groceries for the week and do some initial prep.
Like what kind of prep?
Chopping vegetables, marinating proteins, maybe pre-cooking some staples like grains, quinoa, or rice.
Got it.
This can save countless hours during busy weekdays. Think of it as an investment that pays off in quick, healthy meals whenever you need them.
I love the idea of one-pot wonders, too, because honestly, the cleanup is often the part that feels most daunting, isn't it? A mountain of dishes after dinner.
Precisely. That's a huge deterrent for many people. So embracing one-pot recipes, whether it's a hearty stew, a flavorful pasta primavera, or maybe a sheet pan dinner,
Sheet pan dinners, yeah.
it allows you to throw everything into a single cooking vessel. This dramatically minimizes both the prep time and, crucially, the dreaded cleanup afterward.
Stops the whole evening being about dishes.
Exactly. It prevents your whole night from going south, as they say. Another crucial technique, especially if you've had any culinary school experience, is pre-measuring ingredients.
Mise en place.
That's the French phrase, mise en place.
Mm-hmm.
The simple but really effective step involves organizing all your ingredients pre-measured and ready to go before you even start cooking.
So no frantic searching mid-recipe.
Right. It prevents that last-minute scrambling and ensures a seamless, much less stressful cooking process. Smooth sailing.
And a well-stocked pantry sounds like a foundational safety net when time is short, almost like a secret weapon.
Absolutely. It really is. Stocking your pantry with versatile staples, things like canned beans, various pastas, different grains, a selection of sauces, it forms the base for numerous quick and flavorful dishes you can just whip up in a flash.
Right, using what you have.
Exactly. This strategy also helps you waste less food and save money because you're relying on ingredients that generally have a longer shelf life.
Good point.
Of course, it's vital to be mindful of expiration dates, even for shelf-stable goods, just to maintain food quality and safety.
True.
And let's not forget how technology in the kitchen has evolved. I mean, modern appliances like air fryers,
Oh yeah, everyone seems to have one now.
Instant Pots, sous vide machines, crock pots, they can be absolute game changers. They automate or significantly speed up cooking processes, making home cooking easier and faster than ever before.
So how can you make all that effort last? Ensuring the time you put into cooking stretches over multiple meals. Because cooking every single night still feels like a lot.
Yeah, that's key. It means repurposing leftovers and embracing batch cooking.
Batch cooking. Cook once, eat twice, or 3 times.
Or more. A single meal that took, say, a few hours to cook on Sunday can provide quick, nutritious options for several days, drastically cutting down on cooking frequency during the week.
Okay.
You can also strategically double or triple recipes when you make them, or cook versatile meal components in bulk, like, say, a big batch of quinoa.
Even use that quinoa for different things.
Exactly. That quinoa can then be added to hot cereal for breakfast, tossed into a salad for lunch, or served as a simple side dish for dinner. Versatility is key.
How long do leftovers typically last?
Most cooked foods last about 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator. Or you can freeze them for much longer periods.
Ah, the freezer is your friend.
Definitely. Just always remember to date and label them clearly. Helps keep track and ensure safety. These methods allow you to maximize your effort and minimize those daily cooking demands.
Okay, we've explored the how and why of cooking at home for our wallets and our health. Now let's put on our metaphorical lab coats and zoom in on the what.
The science bit.
Exactly. Diving deep into the microscopic world of nutrients that truly fuel our bodies. Could you give us a really simple breakdown? What are nutrients fundamentally and why are they so pivotal?
Okay, so think of nutrients as the vital building blocks and the essential fuel for your body. They're the chemical compounds our bodies absorb from food.
The good stuff.
The essential stuff. Once inside our cells, they're constantly at work, powering every single function, creating energy, building and repairing tissues.
Yeah.
They literally keep you alive and running smoothly.
Okay.
We broadly categorize these vital compounds into 2 main groups, macronutrients and micronutrients.
Right, macro and micro. So what are these macronutrients? The ones we hear about most often: carbs, proteins, fats.
Exactly. Macronutrients are the chemical compounds we consume in the largest quantities, and they're primarily responsible for providing bulk energy. This category crucially includes carbohydrates, proteins, and fats.
The big 3.
Water is also consumed in large quantities and is absolutely essential for life, though it doesn't provide caloric value itself. We also sometimes count certain minerals like calcium, sodium, and potassium here.
Why is that?
Simply because we need them in larger amounts compared to other minerals, the micronutrients.
Got it. Can we delve a bit deeper into fats and proteins? They seem particularly important.
Sure. Let's take fats. They often get a bad rap, but they're broken down into fatty acids and glycerol, and they're absolutely crucial. They build our cell membranes, help transport fat-soluble vitamins, that's A, D, E, and K,
Right, the fat-soluble ones.
and they protect our vital organs. Some fatty acids, like certain omega-3s and omega-6s, are actually essential.
Meaning our bodies can't make them.
Precisely. Your body simply can't synthesize them, so you absolutely must get them from your diet. Fats also have the highest calorie count per gram, giving you a very concentrated form of energy.
Okay. And proteins.
Then we have proteins. These are large, complex molecules that support nearly every function in your body. Cell structure, immune function, muscle movement, chemical reactions, hormone synthesis. The list goes on.
Pretty fundamental.
Very. They're made of smaller building blocks called amino acids, and 9 of these are also essential again, meaning they must come from your diet. Consuming enough protein is fundamental for overall physiological health.
And it helps with feeling full, right?
Yes, exactly. It plays a significant role in helping you feel full and satisfied after meals, which can definitely aid in maintaining a healthy body weight. The recommended dietary allowance, the RDA, for protein is generally around 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight.
But that's a minimum.
That reflects the minimum needed to prevent deficiency, yes. Actual needs can vary.
Okay, and micronutrients are the other side of that coin, right? Smaller amounts, but still critical.
Correct. Micronutrients primarily encompass vitamins and other minerals, often called trace minerals, because they are required in much smaller quantities than macronutrients. But here's a crucial takeaway from our sources.
Yes.
The quality of the macronutrients in your diet is far more important than strictly adhering to some rigid set ratio of carbs, proteins, and fats per day.
Ah, quality over quantity, or quality over ratio.
Exactly. The emphasis should be on wholesome, unprocessed sources. A high-quality, balanced diet rich in plant-based foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, will generally provide all the macronutrients your body needs, along with an abundance of micronutrients for maintaining a healthy weight and optimal function.
So focusing on whole foods kind of takes care of the ratios naturally.
To a large extent, yes.
Let's highlight a couple of nutrients that got significant attention in our sources due to their widespread importance: protein and omega-3s. Starting with protein again, what are some delicious high-protein foods you can easily incorporate into your diet without much fuss?
Well, eggs are an excellent and incredibly versatile example.
Can't beat an egg.
Right. Whole eggs are a good source of easily absorbed protein. They're highly bioavailable, and they're also packed with a wide array of vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and antioxidants.
A little powerhouse.
Pretty much. Beyond eggs, other healthy protein sources include lean meats like chicken or turkey, various types of fish, dairy products such as yogurt and cheese, and certain grains like quinoa. Legumes are great too.
But this raises an important question you touched on. Can you actually have too much protein?
That's a valid concern. While protein is vital, our sources suggest that consistently eating over, say, 35% of your daily calories from protein may strain the kidneys.
Even in healthy people.
Yes, potentially increasing the risk of kidney disease over the long term, even in individuals without pre-existing conditions. So it's all about balance. Even with good things like protein, moderation is key.
Okay, that's crucial. Moderation. Now let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids. We hear so much about them. Why are they so profoundly important for our body and brain? And what exactly are EPA and DHA?
Omega-3s offer various significant benefits, contributing to health from the cellular level right up to cognitive performance. The World Health Organization, the WHO, specifically recommends consuming 0.25 to 2 grams of EPA plus DHA per day.
EPA and DHA, those are the key ones.
Those are the active forms of omega-3s, the ones your body uses most directly for all those amazing benefits. Things like reducing inflammation, supporting brain health, heart health.
And how do we get that amount?
This target can be readily achieved by eating about 2 servings of fatty fish each week. Things like salmon, mackerel, sardines.
Okay, fatty fish.
You can find large amounts of these crucial omega-3 fats, not only in fatty fish, but also in certain types of algae and several high-fat plant foods.
Any specific examples?
Well, anchovies, surprisingly, are an excellent source.
Yeah.
Often overlooked.
Anchovies, okay.
They provide a substantial amount of EPA and DHA per serving. For a more, shall we say, luxurious option, caviar also contains an impressive amount.
Right. Maybe not an everyday food for most.
Probably not. But other foods like pasture-raised eggs, omega-3 enriched eggs, meats and dairy from grass-fed animals, hemp seeds, and even some vegetables like spinach and Brussels sprouts contain decent amounts too.
Good to know there are options. What about plant sources like flaxseed?
That's a key distinction. Non-animal sources like flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, and soybeans contain the omega-3 fatty acid ALA.
ALA. Oh,
Your body doesn't use ALA as effectively as it uses EPA and DHA. The conversion rate is often quite low.
so you need more ALA to get the same benefit.
Essentially, yes, or you need to seek out sources that provide EPA and DHA directly, which predominantly come from animal-based sources or algae supplements. So if you're relying solely on plant sources like flax, you might need higher quantities or specific algae-based options.
Now, despite this vast array of food available today, especially in developed countries, nutrient deficiencies remain incredibly common worldwide.
Shockingly common.
This raises an important question. Why are so many people still missing out on essential nutrients? It seems counterintuitive.
It does, but it's a complex issue with multiple layers. Globally, vitamin A deficiency is recognized as the most common. Its impact is staggering. It's estimated to cause blindness in hundreds of thousands of children each year.
That's devastating.
It is. And beyond severe cases, many more individuals experience subclinical deficiencies impacting vision or immune function. Vitamin D and B12 deficiencies are also remarkably prevalent across different populations, even in sunny climates or places with abundant food.
Vitamin D and B12? Okay.
Iodine is another common deficiency. It can lead to an enlargement of the thyroid gland, known as goiter. And in children, severe iodine deficiency can cause irreversible mental retardation and significant developmental abnormalities.
So, serious consequences. Let's look at vitamin D specifically. It's often called the sunshine vitamin.
Yes, because it's uniquely produced from cholesterol in your skin upon exposure to sunlight. It functions much like a steroid hormone, telling cells to turn genes on or off.
Wow, like a hormone.
Deficiency is common in those living far from the equator, obviously, but also people with limited sun exposure for other reasons, or those with darker skin pigmentation.
How common is it?
In the United States, estimates suggest approximately 42% of people may be deficient. That number rises significantly in older adults, maybe 74%, and people with dark skin, potentially over 80%.
That's a huge percentage.
It is. And the symptoms are often subtle, developing slowly over years. They can include things like muscle weakness, bone loss, increased fracture risk in adults,
And in children?
growth delays in soft bones, a condition called rickets.
Okay. What about vitamin B12? You mentioned vegetarians and vegans are more at risk.
Yes, vitamin B12 deficiency is particularly common among vegetarians and vegans because its primary sources are animal products. Older adults are also at higher risk due to potentially impaired absorption as we age.
And the symptoms.
Common symptoms include a specific type of anemia called megaloblastic anemia, where red blood cells become abnormally large. Also impaired brain function, brain fog, memory issues, and elevated homocysteine levels, which is a risk factor for several diseases.
Where can people get B12 if they don't eat meat?
Good dietary sources include shellfish clams, and oysters are packed with it. Organ meats like liver are extremely high. Beef, eggs, and milk products also provide significant amounts. For vegans, fortified foods like nutritional yeast or plant milks or supplements are essential.
It sounds like B12 is mainly in animal products.
Predominantly, yes.
Yeah.
Interestingly, B12 isn't considered harmful in large amounts because the body usually only absorbs what it needs and excretes the excess.
So what's fascinating here is that it's not always about a simple lack of food, but a lack of specific nutrients. What are the underlying causes, beyond just not eating the right foods or food insecurity?
You're right, the causes are multifaceted. Inadequate intake is often the primary driver, but many other factors play a significant role. For instance, long-term alcohol use disorder can severely disrupt the body's absorption of most vitamins.
Okay.
Certain genetic diseases and autoimmune disorders, like pernicious anemia, can directly interfere with the absorption of specific nutrients, like B12.
Right. The body attacks itself.
Exactly. As we mentioned, vegetarian or vegan diets necessitate careful planning or supplementation for nutrients like B12. Lack of sun exposure is the main factor for vitamin D deficiency.
Makes sense.
Furthermore, certain medications can interfere with nutrient absorption or metabolism. Other medical conditions like chronic liver disease can affect how vitamins are processed. Even weight loss surgery can significantly alter digestion and nutrient absorption pathways.
So a lot of potential contributing factors. Given these widespread issues, what can people actually do to address or prevent these common deficiencies?
Well, the good news is that many of these deficiencies are both treatable and preventable. The strategies are fairly straightforward.
Okay.
Eating more of certain foods known to be rich in the specific nutrient you're low in. Switching to fortified or enriched foods, things like milk with added vitamin D, or breakfast cereals fortified with B vitamins and iron.
So checking labels for fortification.
Yes, that can be helpful. For some, taking oral supplements is necessary and effective. For very low levels or severe absorption issues, sometimes medical interventions like injections, infusions, or patches are required.
Right.
However, and this is really paramount, it's absolutely crucial to consult your healthcare provider before starting any supplements,
Why is that so important?
because they can provide personalized guidance on the proper dosage for you, check for potential interactions with other medications you might be taking, and ensure you're addressing the deficiency safely and effectively. Self-diagnosing and self-treating can sometimes do more harm than good.
Good advice. Always talk to a professional. Now, let's turn to the other side of the dietary coin. The foods we should probably be more cautious about. Our sources really underscore the detrimental impact of ultra-processed foods, excessive sugar, and certain types of fats on our health.
This raises the important question. Why are these categories so problematic? What makes them different from just, regular processed foods or naturally occurring sugars and fats? Let's start with ultra-processed foods, or UPFs.
UPFs, okay, what falls into that category?
These include items like chips, carbonated drinks, instant noodles, most commercial ice creams, chocolate bars, biscuits, many ready-to-eat meals, sausages, burgers, and a huge array of packaged snacks.
So a lot of common convenience foods.
A lot. Our sources describe them as highly engineered products, often using chemically manipulated cheap ingredients, made palatable and attractive, using combinations of flavors, colors, emulsifiers, thickeners, and other additives you wouldn't typically find in a home kitchen.
And the health risks associated with them seem quite extensive, right? It goes beyond just being high in calories or low in nutrients.
Indeed. The health risks are extensive and concerning. A recent, very large review linked UPFs to a staggering 32 harmful health effects.
32.
Yes, including things like heart disease, diabetes, depression, and overall mortality. One study even found a direct correlation with accelerated biological aging.
Aging faster on the inside.
Essentially, for every 10% increase in UPF consumption, the gap between a person's biological age and their chronological age rose by 2.4 months. What's fascinating and worrying is that this association seems partly independent of the overall diet quality.
Meaning, even if your diet is otherwise okay, the UPFs themselves are problematic.
That's what the research suggests. It might be due to the lower intake of beneficial compounds like flavonoids found in whole foods, or perhaps higher exposure to chemicals from packaging, or the effects of the intense processing itself. Plus, UPFs are typically high in saturated fat, salt, and free sugar, and they are expertly engineered in ways that actively drive excess consumption. They're designed to be hyperpalatable.
Making them hard to stop eating.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does this all mean for sugar? Is all sugar bad, or is there a distinction we should be making?
That's a key distinction. Not all sugar is created equal in terms of its health impact. The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends limiting free sugars.
Free sugars? What are those?
These are the sugars added to foods or drinks by manufacturers, cooks, or consumers themselves. It also includes sugars naturally present in honey, syrups, fruit juices, and fruit juice concentrates.
So added sugars and juices, basically.
Right. The WHO suggests keeping these to less than 10% of your total daily energy intake, and ideally, even less than 5% for additional health benefits. This is crucially different from the sugars found naturally within the structure of whole fruits and milk.
Why the difference?
Because those natural sugars come packaged with fiber, water, vitamins, and minerals, which slows down their absorption and provides other benefits. Free sugars offer calories with little to no other nutritional value.
Okay, so what are the implications of consuming too much of these free sugars, especially beyond just weight gain, which most people know about?
Excessive free sugar consumption contributes significantly to weight gain and, of course, tooth decay. But the implications extend much further. It's strongly linked to metabolic syndrome, various cardiovascular diseases.
Heart issues.
Yes. And it even accelerates skin aging. There's a biochemical process called glycation.
Glycation.
Yeah, imagine sugar molecules essentially latching onto proteins like collagen and elastin in your skin, making them stiff and dysfunctional. This increases oxidative damage and inflammation in the skin.
So literally aging your skin faster.
It seems so. Moreover, high sugar intake can exacerbate various dermatological conditions like dermatitis or psoriasis, and there's even a suggested link to androgenetic alopecia, a common form of hair loss. High sugar content, particularly from sugar-sweetened beverages, can activate something called the polyol pathway, which contributes to these issues.
Wow, quite a range of effects. And how about fats, specifically saturated and trans fats? There seems to be a lot of nuance here, too.
There is. The WHO recommends that saturated fats should constitute less than 10% of your total energy intake, and trans fats less than 1%, with a clear emphasis on shifting towards unsaturated fats, found in things like olive oil, nuts, seeds, avocados.
Trans fats seem particularly bad.
Industrially produced trans fats, which are often found in many baked goods, fried foods, and prepackaged snacks, should ideally be avoided entirely.
Why are they so harmful?
They are particularly insidious because they significantly increase LDL, or bad cholesterol, while potentially lowering HDL, the good cholesterol. This dramatically raises the risk of heart disease. Many countries have actually banned or severely restricted them now.
Okay. And saturated fats, where do we find those mainly?
Examples of foods high in saturated fats include fatty cuts of meat, sausages, butter, hard cheese, cream, cakes, biscuits, lard, and pies.
So mostly animal products and baked goods.
Generally, yes. For adults, the guideline is for men to aim for no more than 30 grams per day, and women no more than 20 grams per day. Children under 11 should have even less. Though it's important to note, a very low-fat diet isn't suitable for very young children under 5.
Right. They need fat for development.
Correct.
Finally, let's quickly touch on salt, or sodium, another common culprit in modern diets.
Yes, high sodium intake, typically from salt, is another significant global health concern. The WHO recommends consuming less than 5 grams of salt, which is about 1 teaspoon, or 2 grams of sodium per day.
1 teaspoon total. That seems quite low.
It is, compared to what most people consume. Most people eat far too much, often unknowingly. About 3/4 of the salt we eat is already hidden in processed foods.
Hidden salt? Like where?
Things like breakfast cereals, canned soups, bread, sauces, processed meats. It adds up quickly.
And the main risk is blood pressure.
Exactly. High sodium intake is a major contributor to high blood pressure or hypertension, which in turn dramatically increases the risk of heart disease and stroke.
So checking labels again is key.
Definitely. When checking food labels for salt or sodium, remember that generally more than 1.5 g of salt or 0.6 g sodium per 100 gram means the food is high in salt. The overall daily goal is to select foods that, added together, keep you under that 100% daily value for sodium. It requires conscious effort and awareness.
Okay, let's shift gears now to the empowering side of nutrition. How specific dietary choices can actively promote healthy aging and combat chronic inflammation? This feels like the proactive part.
It is. It's about harnessing food as medicine in a way.
So what are the core principles here that our sources highlight for promoting longevity and reducing that harmful inflammation?
The core principles are actually quite consistent across the research. First, maintaining a healthy weight throughout life is pivotal. Not yo-yo dieting, but sustained healthy weight.
Okay.
Second, focusing on the types or food sources of dietary fat, protein, and carbohydrates is far more important in influencing chronic disease risk and mortality than merely their quantity or exact ratio.
Right.
Quality over quantity again.
Right. Whole foods versus processed.
Exactly. And third, adopting traditional healthy dietary patterns like the Mediterranean diet, for example, which often emphasize nutrient-rich, plant-based foods, is consistently associated with lower mortality and healthy longevity.
Let's talk more about inflammation. Because chronic inflammation, as opposed to acute inflammation, like from an injury,
Right.
it can be quite insidious, can't it? I've heard it described as a silent killer. Is that an accurate way to think about it? And what makes it so insidious?
It absolutely can be, and silent killer is a fitting description in many ways. While acute inflammation is a vital, short-term physiological defense
A
mechanism,
healing response.
yes, triggered by infections or injuries. But if that inflammatory process doesn't switch off, if it becomes chronic and low-grade, it can silently stimulate the development of a wide range of debilitating diseases over years or decades.
Like what kind of diseases?
Cardiovascular disease, autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, neurological conditions like Alzheimer's, and even many types of cancer. What's more, during the natural aging process, this low-grade inflammation tends to increase sometimes called inflammaging,
Inflammaging, okay.
and this accelerates age-related decline. Foods like saturated fats, as we discussed, and UPFs seem to have a pro-inflammatory activity. This is where polyphenol-rich plant foods become absolutely pivotal. They act as powerful agents against this chronic inflammation.
Okay, so polyphenols, they sound like a key component of this anti-aging, anti-inflammatory strategy. What exactly are they?
Polyphenols are a very large and diverse group of naturally occurring chemical compounds found abundantly in plant-based foods.
Where do we find them?
You'll find them in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, legumes, soy products, coffee, tea, cocoa, red wine, and also many common culinary herbs and spices. They're categorized into various subclasses like flavonoids, lignans, phenolic acids, resveratrol, lots of complex names.
Okay, so they're widespread in plants, and what are their benefits? How do they actually contribute to this anti-inflammatory pro-longevity effect?
Their benefits are really impressive and multifaceted. Polyphenols possess potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. They directly counteract damaging free radicals and quell inflammatory pathways.
Okay.
They're also linked to anti-carcinogenic effects in some studies. They can help improve blood lipid profiles, lowering LDL cholesterol, maybe raising HDL, and reduce blood pressure, which is crucial for heart health.
What about the brain?
Yes, they're also linked to improved cognitive function and a lower risk of neurodegenerative diseases like dementia. Furthermore, they can act as prebiotics.
Feeding gut bacteria.
Exactly. They feed beneficial gut bacteria, contributing to a healthy gut microbiome, which we now know has huge systemic health impacts, including on inflammation and immunity. Critically, experimental studies indicate the polyphenols exhibit anti-aging properties by directly influencing various hallmarks of aging at a cellular level, including inflammation and oxidative stress.
So the powerful takeaway seems to be, by intentionally weaving a rainbow of plant-based foods into your diet, you're not just eating your greens, you're actively deploying a potent defense system.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You're leveraging these polyphenols to fight inflammation, potentially slow cellular aging, and boost everything from your heart to your brain.
Can you give us some specific examples of common, maybe even surprising polyphenol-rich foods that we can easily incorporate into our diets?
Certainly, coffee actually stands out as a major source of polyphenols in many Western diets.
Coffee.
Yes, particularly compounds called chlorogenic acids, which has strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Moderate consumption, typically defined as around 3 to 5 standard cups per day, is consistently associated with reduced risks of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, some cancers, premature death, cognitive disorders like Parkinson's, and even depression.
Wow, that's quite a list for coffee lovers.
It is. While polyphenols are key, the caffeine in coffee also contributes independently to improve cognitive function, of course.
Okay, what else?
Extra virgin olive oil, EVOO, a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, is another fantastic source of polyphenols, particularly oleocanthal, which has ibuprofen-like anti-inflammatory effects. EVOO is strongly linked to improved cognitive and vascular function.
Quality matters there, right?
Yeah.
Extra virgin.
Yes, the processing makes a big difference in polyphenol content. Blueberries are famously packed with anthocyanins, a type of polyphenol responsible for their vibrant blue-purple color. Higher consumption is associated with lower risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, CVD, and overall mortality. One study showed that eating 1 cup of blueberries daily for 6 months led to clinically significant improvements in heart health markers like endothelial function and arterial stiffness.
A cup a day. That's achievable.
Other good examples include avocados, dark chocolate with high cocoa content, nuts like walnuts, and many culinary herbs and spices like turmeric, containing curcumin, and ginger, both of which demonstrate significant anti-inflammatory properties. Variety is key.
This leads us nicely into specific anti-inflammatory dietary patterns like the Mediterranean diet you mentioned, and maybe even others.
Indeed. The Mediterranean diet, MD, is probably the most studied. It emphasizes whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, healthy fats, mainly from EVOO, fish, and moderate amounts of dairy and red meat. Studies consistently show it leads to significant increases in beneficial gut bacteria and lower levels of systemic inflammation markers. It's strongly associated with reduced risks of diabetes, heart disease, certain cancers like breast cancer, and improved cognitive function.
Are there other traditional diets with similar benefits?
Yes, our sources mention the Jiang'an diet, which is a traditional Chinese diet found in the southern regions of China, near the Yangtze River Delta.
Interesting. What does that involve?
It's characterized by higher consumption of seasonal vegetables and fruits, lots of fresh fish and shellfish, legumes, moderate amounts of whole grain rice, plant oils, mainly rapeseed oil in that region, and relatively low red meat and salt intake. Soy-derived products like tofu are common.
And cooking methods.
Steaming or boiling are preferred cooking methods over deep frying, which is common in some other Chinese regional cuisines. This dietary pattern is associated with lower rates of obesity and metabolic syndrome compared to more westernized Chinese diets that have emerged more recently.
This really suggests that how we classify healthy diets needs nuance. It's not just about being plant-based, for example. The
Mhm.
type of plant-based matters hugely.
Precisely. That's a critical point. Our sources make a clear distinction between a healthful plant-based diet index,
Okay.
HPBI,
Okay, HPDR.
which favors high-quality, nutrient-dense plant foods like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes, and actively minimizes less healthy plant foods like refined grains, white bread, white rice, potatoes, especially fried, sugar-sweetened beverages, and also minimizes animal products.
And the alternative.
The alternative is an unhealthful plant-based diet index, UPDI, which is comprised mostly of those less healthy plant foods, lots of refined grains, sugary drinks, sweets, processed vegan snacks, etc.
And the health outcomes differ.
Dramatically. Adherence to a healthful plant-based diet, HPDI, is strongly associated with a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, stroke, and total mortality. One large study found a 64% lower risk for total mortality. Conversely, a UPDI, the unhealthful version, showed a positive association with total mortality. It actually increased risk.
So just being plant-based or vegan isn't automatically healthy. The quality is paramount.
Absolutely. The quality of the plant foods you choose makes all the difference.
And where does dietary fiber fit into all of this? It's often emphasized mainly for digestive health, but its role seems much broader, connected to inflammation and longevity too.
Dietary fiber is indeed essential for a healthy diet, and yes, its benefits extend far beyond just keeping you regular, although that's important too.
Right.
It supports healthy digestive function, yes, but it may also reduce the risk for heart disease and certain types of cancer, possibly by binding to cholesterol or carcinogens. It increases the intake of both fiber itself and often potassium, which are both crucial for overall well-being and often underconsumed.
And the gut bacteria connection again?
Yes, fiber plays a vital role in promoting beneficial gut bacteria. Certain types of fiber act as prebiotics, feeding those good microbes, which then produce beneficial compounds like short-chain fatty acids that have anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body.
So where can people easily find good sources of fiber?
Look for breakfast cereals with 5 grams or more per serving. Choose whole grains consistently, whole wheat bread, brown rice, quinoa, barley, oats. Legumes are fiber powerhouses, beans, peas, lentils. All fruits and vegetables contribute, especially eaten whole with skins on where possible. Nuts and seeds are great sources. Even unsweetened dried fruits and low-fat popcorn count.
Any tips for increasing fiber intake?
The main advice is to add fiber to your diet slowly over a few weeks.
Why slowly?
To give your digestive system time to adapt and to avoid potential gas or bloating, and drink plenty of water throughout the day. Fiber works best when it absorbs water. It helps it move through your system smoothly.
Okay. Are there any situations where high fiber isn't recommended?
Yes, it's worth noting that in some specific medical situations, like for individuals with narrowed intestines due to Crohn's disease, or perhaps during active radiation therapy to the abdomen, a low-fiber diet may be temporarily recommended by a healthcare professional to help ease symptoms like diarrhea or cramping, but for most people, higher fiber is beneficial.
Good clarification. Finally, zooming out again, it's clear that healthy longevity isn't just about diet, right? It's a combination of lifestyle factors working together. How do these factors interact?
That's absolutely correct. It's a holistic picture. Healthy longevity is significantly influenced by diet, yes, but also by a powerful synergy of other key lifestyle factors. Our sources consistently identify 5 major low-risk lifestyle factors.
What are they?
1, never smoking or quitting. 2, maintaining a normal weight, specifically a body mass index, BMI, between 18.5 and 24.9. 3, engaging in 30 or more minutes per day of moderate to vigorous physical activity.
Daily activity.
4, moderate alcohol intake, which is typically defined as up to 1 drink per day for women, up to 2 for men. And 5, consistently adhering to a high-quality diet, like the healthy plant-based or Mediterranean patterns we discussed.
And the combined impact is significant.
The data is really compelling. Adhering to all 5 of these low-risk lifestyle factors could potentially prolong life expectancy at age 50 by a remarkable 14.0 years for females and 12.2 years for males, compared to individuals who adopted none of these healthy habits.
14 years. That's huge.
It truly underscores the profound impact of a comprehensive, holistic approach to health. Diet is absolutely foundational, but it's not the only ingredient for a long and healthy life. It works best in concert with these other positive behaviors.
Okay, moving into our next section. Our relationship with food is constantly evolving, and technology is playing an increasingly crucial role in shaping that future. Let's start with a significant global challenge:
Okay.
food waste. How is technology helping us reduce the sheer volume of food that goes uneaten, from the farm right through to our own kitchens?
It means we're moving towards leveraging innovation, particularly things like artificial intelligence, AI, and the Internet of Things, IoT, to tackle a problem of, well, immense scale.
How big is the problem?
Globally, it's estimated that 1/3 of all the world's food goes to waste. Just think about that. 1/3.
That's staggering.
It is. In the U.S. alone, the amount of food wasted is about 3 times more than what would be needed to feed every single hungry person in the country.
Wow.
And beyond the ethical implications of hunger, the environmental footprint is enormous. Food production accounts for over a quarter, about 26% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. It utilizes half of the world's habitable land, 70% of global freshwater withdrawals, and causes about 78% of global ocean and freshwater pollution through nutrient runoff.
So wasting food is wasting massive amounts of resources.
Exactly. AI and IoT are now offering potentially transformative solutions to these challenges, enabling us to optimize processes at every single stage of the food journey, from production to consumption.
How exactly can AI help mitigate this waste? How does it work in practice to transform those disheartening statistics?
Well, AI can optimize food production, distribution, and consumption processes by analyzing vast amounts of complex data to identify inefficiencies and, crucially, predict where waste is most likely to occur before it happens.
Okay, give me some examples.
For instance, intelligent food sorting systems. These are now using AI-powered robots and machine vision in agriculture and food processing plants.
Robots sorting fruit.
Essentially, yes. These systems can quickly and efficiently sort food items, identifying not just ripeness, but also detecting early signs of spoilage or disease in crops and livestock far faster and sometimes more accurately than humans can. This early intervention can save entire batches from being discarded.
Okay, that's on the production side. What about later in the chain?
AI for food recovery networks is revolutionizing redistribution efforts. AI algorithms can optimize these networks by matching excess, perfectly good food from businesses like restaurants, caterers, grocery stores to local shelters, after-school programs, and nonprofit organizations in real time. Platforms like Copia use AI to help businesses track their surplus trends and even access tax savings for donations.
Making it easier to donate rather than discard.
Exactly, creating a win-win. Then there are enhanced food storage solutions. These leverage AI and IoT sensors to constantly monitor and control crucial environmental factors like temperature, humidity, and even atmospheric composition in warehouses and refrigerated transport.
Smart fridges on a massive scale.
Kind of, yeah. The AI can then automatically adjust these conditions to optimize and extend the shelf life for different specific food types, significantly reducing spoilage rates during storage and transit.
And forecasting. Can AI help predict how much food is needed?
Yes, that's another major application. AI algorithms can forecast food demand with remarkable accuracy by analyzing historical sales data, weather patterns, local events, and other factors. This allows retailers and restaurants to adjust their inventory much more precisely and reduce overstocking, which is a huge source of waste, particularly for perishable items. This capability is especially beneficial for larger chains.
Are there any other notable technologies already making an impact in this fight against food waste, maybe at different scales?
Yes, absolutely. Several innovative companies are already making a tangible difference. For example, Outcast Foods in Canada has a fascinating model. They prevent produce from reaching landfills by taking nearly rejected fruits and vegetables and upcycling them into valuable plant-based products like protein powders and nutritional supplements.
Turning waste into value.
Exactly. Then there's a company called 1/3. They provide suppliers with cloud-based software and handheld scanners that use AI and near-infrared technology to non-invasively predict the remaining shelf life of fresh produce like avocados or strawberries.
So growers and stores know how long it will last.
Precisely. Empowering them to make smarter decisions about pricing, routing, and inventory management. At the household level, there's a simple yet effective product called Blue Apple. It's a little plastic apple you put in your fridge's crystal drawer.
What does it do?
It contains packets that absorb ethylene gas. That's the natural ripening hormone released by many fruits and vegetables. By removing ethylene, it can extend the shelf life of produce by up to 3 times.
Simple but effective.
And finally, apps like Flash Food connect consumers directly to grocery stores that are offering significant discounts on food items nearing their expiration date. This ensures that perfectly good food gets bought and used rather than simply thrown away by the store.
So, tech working at all levels, from farm to fridge to consumer apps. Okay, beyond waste, AI is also transforming how we approach our own nutrition, moving us towards truly personalized dietary advice. This concept of personalized nutrition, or PN, sounds incredibly promising. How is it actually being implemented, and what does it promise for individual health?
Personalized nutrition aims to optimize individual health outcomes through highly targeted dietary recommendations. These recommendations are no longer generic, one-size-fits-all advice.
Like the old food pyramid.
Exactly. Instead, they are based on a unique combination of your specific data, your genetics, your phenotype, physical characteristics, medical history, lifestyle factors like activity levels and sleep, and even your current environmental context. AI presents an unparalleled opportunity to analyze all this complex data and achieve this level of personalization at a scale that could genuinely have a population-level impact on health. It moves beyond manual, labor-intensive assessments by dietitians.
That sounds incredibly advanced, almost futuristic. Can you give us some concrete examples of AI's practical applications in personalized nutrition that are already emerging or being actively developed?
Certainly. One significant area seeing rapid development is image-based dietary assessment.
Using photos of food.
Yes. Thanks to huge advancements in AI, particularly deep learning techniques like convolutional neural networks, CNNs, the accuracy and efficiency of dietary assessment tools have dramatically improved. These AI technologies can automate complex tasks, like identifying specific foods from a smartphone picture, accurately estimating the portion size, and even predicting the likely nutrient content.
How accurate is it?
When combined with sophisticated AI architectures, these systems can identify even subtle differences between similar foods with incredible accuracy, sometimes exceeding 90% even for fine-grained identification. This enables far more objective, scalable, and less burdensome nutritional tracking compared to traditional methods like food diaries or recall interviews.
Which are notoriously inaccurate.
Very often, yes.
Yeah.
People tend to forget or misjudge portions.
So what about apps that assist users directly with their eating habits at home, moving beyond just tracking what they ate?
We're definitely seeing the emergence of powerful AI-powered apps for home use. These apps have the potential to go beyond simple tracking. They could monitor your food purchases via loyalty cards or receipts, track your actual consumption patterns, perhaps using image recognition, and then integrate this data.
To do what?
To remind you to use items before they expire, suggest personalized recipes based on what's currently in your fridge and your health goals, and even advise on proper food storage techniques to extend freshness and reduce household waste.
That sounds really useful. Any specific examples of apps doing this now?
Well, a prime example highlighted in the research is an AI-assisted weight management app called ETGRIP, which stands for the Eating Trigger Response Inhibition Program.
ETO.
This self-monitoring system integrates several cutting-edge AI components. It includes chatbot-based check-ins to help users identify their personal eating lapse triggers like stress or boredom. It uses food-based computer vision image recognition trained on local food items for easy meal logging. And it provides automated time-based nudges and even a meal stopwatch feature to encourage slower, more mindful eating.
And did it work?
A week-long pilot study using ETRIP showed significant improvements in participants' self-reported overeating and snacking habits, their immediate thinking around food choices, self-regulation of eating behaviors, and interestingly, even secondary outcomes like depression scores and physical activity levels.
What did users like about it?
Users particularly appreciated the app for fostering mindfulness around their eating habits, providing personalized reminders that felt relevant, and offering really easy food logging with the image recognition feature. This shows a promising potential for AI apps to overcome many traditional challenges associated with adherence and effectiveness in weight loss programs.
It's not just for individual consumers, though, right? AI is also having a profound impact behind the scenes in food manufacturing processes themselves.
Indeed, the integration of AI in food manufacturing is transforming traditional practices by significantly enhancing efficiency, quality assurance, and sustainability across the entire production chain.
How so?
Well, machine learning models, for instance, can optimize complex processes like ingredient mixing to ensure consistency and quality. They can precisely control energy usage in production lines to reduce costs and environmental impact. They can fine-tune various production parameters in real time to minimize waste and maximize output.
So, smarter factories.
Essentially, yes. The synergistic combination of AI, the Internet of Things, IoT, with its sensors and big data analytics, enables intelligent, responsive decision-making throughout entire agri-food systems. This impacts everything from the development of smart packaging that can monitor food freshness in real time, to the implementation of more sustainable hospitality systems that optimize resource use and reduce their environmental footprint.
This all sounds incredibly promising, like AI could revolutionize how we manage food and health. But are there any significant challenges or limitations to this widespread AI integration that we need to be aware of? What are the potential downsides?
That's a very important question. What's really going on inside the AI's brain? A major challenge is that AI models, especially complex deep learning algorithms, are often considered black boxes.
Meaning, we don't know how they reach conclusions.
Exactly. Their intricate internal decision-making processes are not always easily understood or interpretable by humans. This lack of transparency can unfortunately reduce trustworthiness and lead to hesitancy, particularly among healthcare professionals, to fully adopt these technologies for making critical health recommendations.
Can we make them more transparent?
There are methods being developed under the umbrella of explainable AI, XAI techniques, designed to provide insights into why an AI model made a particular prediction or recommendation. They might highlight which input features had the biggest impact, for instance. However, these XAI methods still have limitations. The explanations they provide can sometimes be inconsistent or struggle to fully capture the true underlying causality and the nuances of context, which is absolutely critical for reliable clinical decision-making.
So explainability is still a work in progress. Any other major hurdles?
Another significant challenge lies in data interoperability.
Interoperability.
Yes, that's the ability to seamlessly combine and analyze diverse types of data from different sources, things like clinical records, detailed nutrition intake data, data from wearables about activity and sleep, genetic information, maybe even gut microbiome data.
Bringing it all together.
Exactly. Integrating these disparate data sets effectively is crucial for improving the precision and personalization of health predictions and recommendations. However, achieving this seamless integration and analysis is still an emerging area with limited widespread application in the field of personalized nutrition today. There are technical and privacy challenges to overcome, but it's key to unlocking AI's full potential in this space.
Okay, we've covered the practicalities of cooking, the science of nutrients, and the technological frontiers. But often, the biggest hurdles aren't external. They lie within our own minds and habits. Let's delve into the psychology of eating. Why do we choose what we choose, and how do our internal states and external worlds shape what ends up on our plates?
It's a deeply multifaceted question, far from a simple matter of just calories or nutrients, as you say. Our food choices are profoundly influenced by a complex interplay of factors, extending far beyond nutritional content or even cost and convenience.
What kind of factors?
For children, for example, these influences span multiple levels. There are individual aspects like their innate biology, taste preferences, which can be partly genetic, their temperament. Then there are family dynamics. The eating habits of parents are hugely influential. The availability of certain foods in the home, cultural backgrounds and traditions around food, parenting practices related to feeding.
So family is huge. What about beyond the family?
Community settings play a role. Think about the food environment in childcare centers or schools. And then there are broader societal contexts, household income and food security, cultural norms, pervasive food marketing, especially targeting children, and government policies related to food access and agriculture. It's a whole ecosystem of influences.
So culture clearly plays a significant role in shaping our eating patterns, dictating what's considered normal or desirable, what we eat habitually.
Absolutely. Cultural influences deeply dictate habitual consumption patterns. What foods are considered staples, specific preparation traditions, religious or cultural dietary restrictions, like the exclusion of meat or milk in some cultures. Food is deeply tied to identity and social rituals.
But culture isn't set in stone, right?
Exactly. What's fascinating here is that culture isn't static. It's definitely amenable to change. We see this clearly when individuals move to new countries. They often gradually adapt to local food habits, demonstrating that even these deeply ingrained patterns can evolve over time through exposure and integration. Similarly, the social context who we eat with, the social norms around eating, profoundly impacts our behavior.
How so?
It can be through direct influence, like friends suggesting a particular restaurant or sharing food, or through more indirect social learning from peers, which shapes our attitudes, preferences, and habits, even when we eventually eat alone. We learn what's cool or normal to eat from those around us.
And mood, I imagine, is a powerful driver too. I know for myself, a stressful day can sometimes lead me straight to the comfort food, like ice cream or chocolate.
It's a critical factor indeed. Mood not only influences our food choices, but food, in turn, can impact our mood, creating a complex, often bidirectional feedback loop.
A vicious cycle sometimes.
It can be. Prolonged or frequent work stress, for instance, is strongly linked to adverse dietary changes, often an increase in intake of high-fat, high-sugar comfort foods. This, in turn, increases the possibility of weight gain and associated cardiovascular risk. Many people experience what psychologists call an ambivalent relationship with food.
Ambivalent how?
They want to enjoy food, derive pleasure from it, but they're also highly conscious of and often anxious about potential weight gain or negative health consequences. This internal struggle frequently leads to feelings of guilt after eating certain foods, or conversely, intense food cravings, especially for foods they try hard to restrict. Restriction often backfires.
That makes sense. This reminds me of the broader historical perspective on human diets. We are, biologically, omnivores adapted over millennia. What does this deep evolutionary past tell us about our current eating challenges, especially in our modern food environment, which is so different?
What's fascinating from an evolutionary perspective is that humans are true food generalists. Our biological design as omnivores, with flexible digestive systems and brains capable of learning, has allowed our species to adapt and survive across incredibly diverse geographical regions by consuming a remarkably wide range of organic substances.
So we're built to be adaptable eaters.
Very much so. Historically, hunter-gatherers during the Pleistocene era generally had a remarkably diverse, protein and vitamin-rich diet obtained from wild plants, meat, fish, nuts, and fruits. Though it's important to remember, they also likely faced occasional periods of scarcity and undernourishment. Life wasn't always easy.
Right, but then things changed.
Dramatically. The onset of the Neolithic period, starting around 10,000 years ago, brought the agricultural revolution, the transition to a settled agrarian way of life. This led to diets heavily biased towards the consumption of a few staple cereal crops, like wheat, rice, or corn.
And that had health consequences.
Significant ones. While agriculture supported larger populations, early agricultural diets were often less diverse and potentially lower in certain micronutrients compared to hunter-gatherer diets, leading to evidence of nutritional deficiencies and dental problems in skeletal remains. Now, fast forward to today. Our modern diets, especially in industrialized nations, are often dominated by those ultra-processed foods we discussed.
Energy-dense, nutrient-poor.
Exactly. They are energy-dense but provide hardly any fiber and often lack essential micronutrients. This represents a profound and evolutionarily very recent departure from the diets our bodies adapted to over hundreds of thousands of years. Our biology hasn't really caught up.
And that mismatch causes problems.
Yes. This failure to adapt our caloric intake to our predominantly sedentary modern lifestyles, coupled with the dramatic shift in food quality towards processed items, is seen as a major contributing factor to the epidemic of chronic non-communicable diseases, CNCDs, like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and certain cancers. It even has implications for things like oral health. The consumption of predominantly soft, processed foods has made the teeth's natural abrasive function almost obsolete, which some researchers suggest might contribute to modern dental issues like crowding or even bruxism, teeth grinding. Our evolutionary past casts a long shadow on our present health challenges.
Okay, so it's one thing to understand all the science, the economics, the psychology, but it's quite another to actually implement changes and stick with them. So why isn't knowledge alone enough to drive behavior change? What are some of the major practical roadblocks people face when trying to adopt healthier eating habits? And crucially, what strategies can you, the listener, use to overcome them?
You're right, knowing isn't the same as doing. Knowledge is necessary, but often not sufficient. Our sources consistently highlight several common barriers that people encounter when trying to change their eating or activity habits. And importantly, they also offer practical, evidence-based solutions.
Okay, let's break them down. What's a big one?
Lack of time is almost always near the top of the list. Busy lifestyles, demanding jobs, family responsibilities. Convenience often wins out, pushing food preparation to a lower priority.
The too busy to cook trap.
Exactly. The solution here really requires actively prioritizing health. This means consciously making time, fit in physical activity whenever and wherever you can, even short bursts. Set aside a dedicated time slot each week for grocery shopping and maybe some meal prep. And make healthy meals in larger batches that can be frozen for later, giving you quick, nutritious options on those super busy nights.
So planning and prioritizing time, what's next?
Cost is another significant concern for many. Healthy habits are often perceived, rightly or wrongly, as being expensive. This can lead to a reluctance to try new healthy foods for fear they'll be wasted if the family doesn't like them.
The healthy eating is only for the rich myth.
Solutions here include embracing free or low-cost physical activities, like walking in a park or using online workout videos. For food, look for opportunities to buy groceries like grains or beans in bulk, or stock up on healthy staples when they're on sale. Don't dismiss frozen or canned fruits and vegetables. Just choose options canned in 100% juice or water with low or no added sodium. Learning affordable cooking techniques like making soups or stews from cheaper cuts of meat or dried legumes is also key. Healthy eating doesn't have to break the bank.
Okay, time and cost. What else gets in the way?
Lack of social support. Trying to make significant lifestyle changes can feel incredibly difficult, even isolating if you feel like you're doing it alone, especially if your family or friends aren't on board.
Going against the grain socially.
Right. The solution here is to actively seek out or build your support system. Recruit others, a friend, partner, coworker, to be active with you. Sign up for a fun group fitness class where you can meet like-minded people. Involve your family or even coworkers in healthy meal planning, or maybe organize healthy potlucks. Having shared goals and accountability makes a huge difference.
Makes sense. What about personal preferences, like just not liking exercise or healthy food?
That's a common personal barrier too. Dislike of physical activity or healthy foods, maybe based on past negative experiences. For physical activity, the key is to forget the old notion that exercise has to mean punishing workouts at the gym or lifting heavy weights. Explore diverse activities until you find something you genuinely enjoy: dancing, walking, hiking, gardening, swimming, team sports. Movement is movement.
Find your fun.
Exactly. For food, if you dislike certain healthy foods, don't force them. Focus on the ones you do like. And try making healthier versions of your old favorite recipes. You can often trim visible fat from meat, reduce the amount of butter, sugar, or salt called for, use low-fat cheeses or milk, bulk up casseroles or pasta sauces with extra vegetables. Small tweaks can significantly improve the nutritional profile without sacrificing flavor entirely. Experiment.
Good tips. Is there anything else?
Perhaps the most fundamental barrier, underlying many others, is a lack of nutritional education. Many individuals are simply unaware of what good eating habits truly entail. Concepts like balanced nutrition, appropriate portion sizes, the roles of different macronutrients and micronutrients. Without this basic direction or understanding, people may not fully grasp the potential long-term harm of their current diet, making it very difficult to make informed choices or feel motivated to change. Education is foundational.
So bringing it all together, what does this all mean for effectively changing behavior? If knowledge isn't enough and these barriers exist, how can we actually implement strategies and make them stick?
It means recognizing that changing ingrained habits is a process, not a single event. It takes time and involves ups and downs. The stages of change model, also known as the trans-theoretical model, is a really helpful framework for understanding this.
Stages of change.
Yes. It suggests that people move through distinct stages when modifying behavior. Pre-contemplation, not thinking about change. Contemplation, thinking about it, weighing pros and cons. Preparation, making concrete plans, setting goals. Action, actively making the changes. And maintenance, sustaining the new behavior long term. Relapse is also considered a normal part of the process.
So interventions should match the stage.
Exactly. Interventions, whether self-directed or guided by a professional, are most effective when they are tailored to an individual's specific stage of readiness. Trying to push someone in the contemplation stage straight into action usually doesn't work. They need different types of support.
That's insightful. What about influencing children's habits? You mentioned family earlier.
For children, caregivers, parents, grandparents, child care providers play an absolutely pivotal role in shaping early eating habits and preferences, which can last a lifetime. There are several evidence-based strategies for promoting food acceptance in children.
Such as?
Repeated exposure is key. You can take 10, 15, or even more times of offering a new food before a child accepts it. Don't give up after 1 or 2 tries. Keep offering it patiently, without pressure.
Persistence.
Positive social modeling is also highly effective. When children see others, especially their peers but also admired adults, enjoying healthy foods, they are much more likely to try them themselves. Our sources indicate that peer modeling can sometimes be even more effective than adult modeling in certain contexts.
Interesting. What about rewards?
Using small, non-food incentives or rewards, like stickers, check marks on a chart, or specific praise, wow, you tried the broccoli, has been shown to increase acceptance of new foods. However, A crucial caveat here: never use food itself as a reward. For example, eat your vegetables and you can have dessert. This can create unhealthy associations with food and undermine intrinsic motivation to eat healthily.
Okay, no food rewards, anything else for kids?
Yes, actively involving children in food-related activities, letting them help with growing vegetables in a garden, choosing produce at the store, washing ingredients, stirring, mixing, even simple cooking tasks appropriate for their age, significantly increases their willingness to try and ultimately like new foods. It gives them ownership and makes it fun. These strategies are crucial and can be implemented in various settings, from homes to childcare centers and school environments, to foster healthy relationships with food from a young age.
Let's zoom in on a specific behavioral challenge that many people grapple with: emotional eating. What's really happening physiologically and psychologically when you find yourself reaching for comfort food, not out of physical hunger, but out of stress, sadness, boredom, or anxiety?
Emotional eating is essentially a coping mechanism. It's when stress, anxiety, or various forms of emotional distress, negative or sometimes even positive emotions like celebration, lead individuals to use food, often specific types of food, for comfort or to manage their feelings.
Why certain foods? Usually the high-fat, high-sugar ones.
Typically, yes. Those high-sugar, high-fat, often highly processed foods trigger the brain's reward centers, releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine. This provides temporary relief from the unpleasant emotion, a momentary sense of pleasure or distraction.
A quick fix.
A very temporary quick fix. What's fascinating and makes it hard to break is that this isn't just a spontaneous act. It often evolves into a deeply ingrained learned behavior. Individuals unconsciously begin to associate eating, particularly these comfort foods, with specific emotions or stressful situations. Food becomes the default response.
So it becomes a habit, almost automatic.
Exactly. A powerful, often subconscious pattern linking feeling bad, or sometimes even feeling good and wanting to prolong it, with the act of eating.
And is there a clear link established in the research between this pattern of emotional eating and issues like obesity or weight gain?
Yes, there is a clear and concerning link supported by considerable evidence. Numerous studies strongly tie emotional eating patterns to a higher likelihood of obesity and difficulty managing weight.
How does that connection work?
Studies consistently show that when individuals who identify as emotional eaters, particularly those who are already overweight or obese, experience negative emotions, things like anger, loneliness, boredom, anxiety, depression, they tend to eat significantly more than normal weight individuals or those who don't identify as emotional eaters. Critically, they also often report that the act of eating actually does temporarily reduce these underlying unpleasant feelings.
So it reinforces the behavior.
Precisely. It creates a powerful reinforcement cycle. Feel bad, eat comfort food. Feel slightly better temporarily. Reinforces eating as a coping strategy. Repeat. This indicates a deeply ingrained behavioral pattern where food becomes the primary, albeit often maladaptive and ultimately unhelpful, strategy for emotional regulation.
So given how ingrained this can become, what does this all mean for actually managing emotional eating? What strategies can individuals employ to break this cycle? It sounds like just trying harder might not be enough.
You're absolutely right. Addressing emotional eating often requires more than just willpower or dietary restriction, which can sometimes even worsen the problem. It often necessitates specific therapeutic approaches that target the underlying emotional triggers and the learned behavioral responses.
What kind of therapies?
Our sources highlight several evidence-based therapies that show significant promise in helping individuals manage emotional eating. These include acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, and dialectical behavior therapy, DBT.
Can you briefly explain what they do?
Sure. CBT helps individuals identify the thoughts and feelings that trigger emotional eating and teaches them skills to challenge unhelpful thought patterns and develop healthier behavioral responses. ACT focuses on increasing psychological flexibility, helping people accept difficult thoughts and feelings without letting them dictate behavior, and committing to actions aligned with their values, rather than eating for emotional escape. DBT, often used for more intense emotional dysregulation, teaches skills in mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness, providing a broader toolkit for managing difficult emotions without resorting to food.
So they provide concrete skills and strategies.
Exactly. These therapies provide individuals with concrete strategies to help them first recognize their specific personal emotional triggers for eating. Then, crucially, they help individuals develop and practice healthier, more adaptive coping mechanisms for dealing with those emotions. The ultimate goal is to gradually move away from food as the primary source of emotional regulation and to build a wider, more effective repertoire of strategies for managing life's inevitable stresses and difficult feelings. It's about building emotional resilience.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive we've had today. We've journeyed from the sheer economics and the very practical hacks of home cooking through the intricate science of macronutrients, micronutrients, and those powerful anti-inflammatory diets. We explored the groundbreaking role of AI in fighting food waste and personalizing nutrition.
Which is fascinating stuff.
And finally, we uncovered the complex psychological landscape that shapes our eating habits, including things like emotional eating. It's truly been a feast for the mind.
It really has. And it truly underscores the profound interconnectedness of all these factors, doesn't it? As we've seen throughout this discussion, making informed, intentional choices about food isn't just a lifestyle preference. It can be a powerful medical intervention, a preventative strategy, and really a foundational pathway to healthy aging and enhanced overall well-being.
Absolutely. Every aspect, from your shopping list and how you stock your pantry, to your understanding of nutrients, to your emotional state when you sit down to eat, it all plays a significant role.
It's all linked.
So, thinking back on our conversation, what stands out most to you from today's discussion? Perhaps for our listeners, it's a new kitchen hack they're eager to try, like batch cooking or mise en place. Maybe it's a surprising nutritional fact about polyphenols in coffee or blueberries. Perhaps it's the mind-boggling potential of AI to transform food management, or maybe it's simply a fresh perspective on their own eating habits and the psychological drivers behind them.
Lots to think about.
Definitely. And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over. As we navigate this increasingly complex modern food environment, where our ancient biological instincts often clash with modern technological innovations and cultural pressures, can technology like AI truly bridge the gap between our innate physiological needs and our often culturally influenced dietary habits? Or will human ingenuity, conscious choice, and sheer willpower ultimately remain the most crucial ingredients for forging a healthier future for ourselves and the planet?
A very pertinent question for our times.
We hope this deep dive has not only enriched your knowledge about healthy eating, but also, for our C1 English learners, expanded your vocabulary and your comprehension of these complex but important concepts discussed in natural conversation. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making those informed choices one meal at a time. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive.